peace be upon you. If you had asked me about the Druze about 15 years ago, or if you had just mentioned the name, just mentioning it, I wouldn't have known what you were talking about at all. Many people are unfamiliar with the Druze faith and its followers. However, Druze individuals are living among us and may be watching this video. The Druze are a religious sect with varying aspects that change based on their location. Yes, you could say they have several mosques. So if they're with the Shia, they say, we're Shia. If they're with the Jews, we're Jews. And if they're with Christians, it's the same thing. The number exceeds 1 million people, but this number isn't confirmed because how can you really count them? Their allegiances shift between Shia, Christians, and others. Before judging if they are Muslims, I suggest understanding the full context first. Let's begin with an open mind for better comprehension. The story, it begins in the year 386 Anno Hegerai, during the era of the Ubaidi Fatimid Shia state, specifically after the death of the Fatimid ruler Al-Aziz Billah. Then Al-Mansur took power, followed by his son, who ruled the Fatimid state, Abu Tamim Ahmad, who was only 11 years old at the time. This young man, who called himself Al-Hakim bi-Amr Allah, was tyrannical, devilish, domineering, insane, heretical, and unjust in every sense. He ordered people to stand in reverence upon hearing his name during the Friday sermon. He also commanded them to publicly curse the companions. He demanded the curses be inscribed in the streets and on mosque doors. Picture it, a young, disbelieving, oppressive man. What would the result be if there are rulers who are over 50 years old and they're the ones leading the celebration? During that era, there were conflicts between the Fatimid and Abbasid Muslim states. The Abbasid state would declare that anyone from the Fatimid state claiming descent from Fatima, may Allah be pleased with her, was lying. The scholars warned against the disbelief and oppression of Al-Hakim bi-Amr Allah, who ruled the mostly Muslim Fatimid state, causing fear among the common people. So many people used to remain silent and leave out of fear of being killed or having their family's honor violated. So the Fatimid state tried as much as possible to overcome the Abbasid state and to fight Islam and erase it from existence by any possible means. The story delves deeper, taking place before 407 Hijri in the palace of Al-Hakim bi-Amr Allah and among his workers. Hamza Al-Zawzani, a name to remember, founded the Druze religion and is considered a prophet by its followers. Don't you find this peculiar? Listen to something even stranger. Hamza Al-Zawzani. He started creating a new religion. This religion focuses on glorifying the ruler and making him a god, and Hamza himself is the prophet of this god. He exploited people's fear of the ruler and conflicts within the Abbasid state and began calling people to this religion. However, Hamza Al-Zawzani has Eastern Persian origins, where worshipping created beings was common. The ruler also enjoys being glorified and deified by the people. This religion opposed the Abbasid state. Farah stood strongly with Hamza Al-Zawzani. Hamza Al-Zawzani was not alone, Nashtakin was with him. Al-Darzi, from whom the Druze get their name, was accompanied by a third man named Al-Akhram. As mentioned, this religion was favored and adopted by the ruler. He brought the three men close to his royal court, making them his close associates. The secret formula for any distorted religion involves attracting people with power and authority, scholars, heretics, and the corrupted religion itself. So the elements were ready to be announced, but strangely, Hamza Al-Zawzani refused to publicly declare this religion. He kept it a secret, confined within his groups in the palace corridors. Nashtakin Al-Druzi had a different view. He questioned how one could claim a religion as the true path to paradise without revealing it to the people. The matter is strange, and his words make sense here. So Nashtakin Al-Druzi publicly announced the new religion and called for the deification of Al-Hakim bi-Amr Allah. He began expanding the records so that everyone who believed in this new religion could write their name. He gathered more than 70,000 signatures, and from them 5,000 went to perform Hajj. When they returned, things had gotten out of control. Despite their strength, the Muslim people of Egypt did not accept this blatant disbelief. So a great revolution began, supported by several other groups. Here, Nashtakin Al-Druzi saw the situation was deadly and dangerous. So he fled and hid in the palace of Al-Hakim bi-Amr Allah until things calmed down. After that, he left secretly and escaped until he reached southern Lebanon among the Tanukids, who were followers and supporters of the Fatimid Ubaidid state. Hamza Al-Zawzani, not being at the forefront, had an easier situation and his face was not known. He left the area for northern Cairo, settling in a mosque and forming a group. However, he was soon discovered and the mosque was stormed. He fled and vanished for years before reappearing to spread his call to the new religion. By the way, everything mentioned in this segment is from their own books and history, and it is not a lie about them. Nashtakin the Druze settled among the Tanukids and spread his religion to them. As they were loyal to the Fatimids, he easily deceived them, leading them to embrace his religion and honor him. He gained value, prestige, and followers as if he invented a Hindu-Buddhist religion. Now there are prominent Druze faith leaders, Nashtakin in southern Lebanon and Hamza Al-Zawzani in northern Egypt, according to their website. This marks a major turning point in the story. Hamza Al-Zawzani became envious of Nashtakin, feeling that despite teaching him the religion, Nashtakin had surpassed him in status and renown. He incited people against Nashtakin, the Druze, sowing discord. The plan succeeded. People attacked, surrounded, and killed Nashtakin. Even today, some Druze consider Nashtakin one of their heretics. The Fatimid state saw changes in rule during and before this period, altering many events. Al-Hakim bi-Amr Allah, the Fatimid ruler, went on a solo journey to the city without guards and never returned. Some claim Al-Hakim was assassinated with his sister's help. She agreed with Ibn Dawas, a powerful soldier, to kill Al-Hakim. She would then appoint Al-Hakim's son Al-Zahir as the new ruler and make Ibn Dawas the commander of the guards and army. The plan was executed. Al-Hakim went to a mountain alone, where the hired Ibn Abdin ambushed and secretly killed him. They buried Al-Hakim's body in his sister's house. So his sister gathered the court, announced the death of Al-Hakim, and said that it was a man from the desert who killed him. They pursued this man, surrounded him, and he ended up killing himself. The Caliph declared Al-Zahir, son of the murdered Al-Hakim, as the new ruler. Al-Zahir assumed power, and his aunt, Al-Hakim's sister, opposed Al-Hakim's religion and divine claims. Al-Zahir is now the king. Upon learning of Hamza Al-Zawzani's incitement against Nashtakin and stirring up the people, he ordered his expulsion from the country. Hamza left for Al-Sham, where he began writing the epistles of wisdom. He would send the text to Al-Muqtani, who would distribute and explain them to the people, essentially forming a new religion. It's similar to someone writing a book like Sahih al-Bukhari, spreading it and explaining it to others, akin to Shia practices. Al-Zahir, the state's ruler, largely continued his father's policies and many of his unsound laws. He severed the Druze's connection to Islam, empowered them over others, fought and imprisoned them, and killed some. Out of fear, some Druze claimed to be Muslim to avoid being killed or imprisoned, just as they do today. And now, since rumors are widespread about the mysterious disappearance of Al-Hakim bi-Amr Allah, the Druze have created some stories claiming that Al-Hakim bi-Amr Allah has ascended to the sky and will return. Some claimed he was reincarnated as God, among other fabricated polytheistic myths deifying him. The Druze have prophets, yes, prophets specific to them. There are 5 prophets, and they themselves are the founders of the Druze religion. Hamad Al-Zawzani, Muhammad Wahab Al-Qurashi, Ismail Al-Taymi, Ali Al-Samuqi, Salama Al-Samari. You might be wondering, where did Nashtakina go? Druze? The Druze hate to be called Druze, and they hate Nashtakina. In fact, they killed him and consider him a heretic and an infidel. Imagine, an infidel calling another infidel an ignorant infidel. Ignorance stacked on top of ignorance. And the Druze have the symbol of the 5-pointed star like the Jews, but with different colors, as a reference to their prophets and their 5 mysterious boundaries. The sad yet funny thing is that the Druze hate the word Druze and call themselves the Unitarians, even though they have disbelieved in God and His messenger, peace be upon him, associated others with God, invented prophets from their own imagination, and made humans into gods. So they have combined polytheism and disbelief from every angle. So what kind of monotheism are they talking about? I was once amazed by Pharaoh's people. How could they believe a man claiming to be their highest lord? But now we have clear and explicit examples. Converting to Islam is straightforward. Recite the 2 testimonies and follow the pillars. However, converting to the Druze religion is a completely different process. He must believe that Al-Hakim bi-Amr Allah, the human, is God and that he is the one and only because God incarnated within him. In fact, he is God himself, and he must believe in the epistles of wisdom. The author wrote both pieces 2 hours ago, stating that he must reject all other religions, especially Islam. He also mentioned the Book of Wisdom. They believe that it was revealed to Salman al-Farisi, and that the companion, Salman al-Farisi, according to them, is the sent prophet. And when he died, his soul was transferred to the new prophet, Hamza al-Zawzani. Okay, when Hamza al-Zawzani died, where did his soul go? Apparently, they are still looking for a way out of this issue, or they are working on a new update. And be careful not to ask what the source of the books is or what the evidence is. No, you just accept the religion and stay silent like the Shia, no evidence, nothing, and you have the Asharis. If you ask them for evidence regarding the names and attributes, they say the evidence is the words of Sheikh Tayyib, the Quran and the Sunnah. These are the things that matter to them. And then, what about the Druze? If you request evidence, where do they obtain it from? It's as if you're asking a madman to prove his madness. Pardon me for taking a moment of your time, but this is how I make a living tonight. So Majar Fanjan Al Marasim is renowned for its extensive experience with coffee products, particularly Fanjan Al Marasim Saudi coffee, which could be the best Saudi coffee you'll ever taste. The store link is in the description with delivery available across the kingdom. Alternatively, visit our Mecca branch, Al-Taibiyah, in front of the mobile shops. But there's a 10% discount on all coffee products for a limited time. And now back to the story. Druze believe that when a Druze person dies, their soul is reincarnated into a newborn Druze. If a non-Druze dies, their soul moves to a non-believer. According to their belief, the number of souls is fixed. How do they explain the increase in souls? So 20 years ago, the world population was 7 billion and today it has surpassed 8 billion. They tell you there is no explanation for this because this is a distortion. So what kind of nonsense do you expect? Hindus believe that when someone dies, their soul moves into a cow, which is why they venerate them. The Druze have no physical prayer, fasting, or almsgiving. Their prayer is a form of communication without physical movements. And if you see some of the Druze praying, you'll find that their prayer is different from the prayer of Muslims. It's as if you brought someone to pray in a church facing away from the Qibla. He mentions odd things like Molokia with Kunafa. They only marry within their community and never remarry each other after divorce, even if they meet again. You might expect that they don't believe in the Quran and have another holy book, but they actually do believe in it. However, they interpret the Quran according to their own inclinations. Let me give you an example. Some Shia, when they read God's words, "This is my straight path," what do they say? This phrase refers to the path of Ali ibn Abi Talib, but what is the source of this interpretation? Is it simply invented? The Druze interpret the Quran according to their own beliefs, not following the words of the Prophet Muhammad, his companions, or followers. Let's explore the unique beliefs of the Druze. If you are Druze, then you must insult Allah the Almighty, insult the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, and the companions distort the Quran, deny the Sunnah, and declare Muslims as disbelievers. Otherwise, you won't be considered Druze. Someone might say, but some Druze say the Shahada and I see them praying. Well, as we mentioned, even if you see them praying, their prayer is not like the prayer of Muslims. If they affirm there is no God but Allah and Muhammad is his messenger, then for them Allah rules by his command and Muhammad refers to Al-Muqtani, not Muhammad ibn Abdullah, peace be upon him. So you must know that their religion is based on taqiyya, on concealment and lying, so they show you the opposite of what they actually believe. So if they were in Saudi Arabia, they would say, "We are Sunni Muslims." If they were in Iraq or Iran, they would say, "We are Shia." If they were in Italy, they would say, "We are Christians," and so on. So you have to understand that you, as a Muslim, are their number one enemy, and the goal is to deceive you, as is mentioned in some general lessons. The ignorant may not have much of what was mentioned before, but basically, they are disbelievers who worship graves, idolaters. So they're scholars, they're ignorant ones, they're young and they're old. All of them are disbelievers. Let's move on to the section. What happens after death for them? Will there be paradise, hellfire, and judgment from God and the prophets? Witnesses over their people, a scale? No. All of this is a lie according to them. In their view of the afterlife, the ruler by God's command will return and judge between the people. The Druze will be given gold, pleasures, and delights, while the non-Druze will eat bitter, foul food and wear pig skin. There are details I would rather not mention because of how offensive they are to the companions and Muslims. An important question, since they are a very secretive and discreet religion and even have secret codes and phrases among themselves, how was their religion revealed? And did their disbelief become clear? First, Nashkin Al-Druzi and those who followed him were among the reasons this religion was revealed because he spread it and some imitated him. What about their secret books, beliefs, and confidential matters? By repenting, my dear Muslim, because there are many Druze who left disbelief and entered Islam, and many are doing so now. If you search on YouTube, you'll find many stories of those who have repented from the Druze faith. They tell their stories and everything about this religion is revealed in addition to their books being leaked among people. Without exaggeration, what's exposed is exposed. If we notice, many religions now and the deviant sects like the Shia, Ashari, Ibadi and Nusairi do what the Druze do, which is taqiyya, dissimulation. So many of their heretical or blasphemous beliefs are not shown to Muslims unless they are sure that you have entered their circle. And at the same time, if they gain power and take authority, as happens in some countries, they will openly fight the Muslims and they will fight anyone who follows the Quran and the Sunnah according to the way of the righteous predecessors. All praise is due to Allah for granting us weakness, favoring us over many of His creation, making us Muslims who believe in His oneness and follow His words and the Sunnah of His messenger, peace and blessings be upon him.